Before we dive into this history-defining moment, I urge all of you to subscribe to this channel right now. From Harare to Westminster, we bring you the real stories, the unfiltered truths, and the drama they never want you to see. Trust me, today's story will leave you speechless. It began like any other press briefing. The golden emblem of the Republic of Zimbabwe gleamed in the background, the flag stood tall beside the podium, and the journalists in the room leaned forward just slightly. They knew something was coming. But no one, and I repeat no one, expected this. The room went still. President Emmerson Mnangagwa took the microphone, cleared his throat, and said the words that would send shockwaves across Zimbabwe, Africa, and the international community. Fellow Zimbabweans, my time has come to an end. I hereby tender my resignation as President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, effective immediately. In that moment, history paused. The man they once called the Crocodile, known for his cold patience and razor-sharp political instincts, stepped away from the very power he had spent decades weaving into his hands. But why now? The resignation speech, which ran just under 15 minutes, was heavy with symbolism, reflection, and an eerie calm. Mnangagwa stood firm, but not defensive. His tone was resolute, yet almost nostalgic. Gone was the combative statesman of recent years. In his place stood a man who had, perhaps, seen too much, carried too much, and decided it was finally time to let go. He spoke of his journey from the liberation struggle to the State House. Of the trials and triumphs that shaped the new Zimbabwe. And yet, woven carefully between the lines were admissions, subtle ones. Not quite apologies, not quite confessions, but acknowledgements that his time in office had come at a cost. That perhaps the road to reform had become too muddy, too fractured. Leadership, he said, is not a birthright. It is a responsibility. And when one feels they can no longer carry that responsibility with honor and peace, it is not weakness to step aside. It is strength. Let those words sink in. Now, viewers in the UK, many of whom have ties to Zimbabwe, family, business, deep cultural roots, are reeling. The resignation immediately became top news in diaspora communities across Birmingham, Luton, Manchester, and London. Why? Because the ripple effects of Zimbabwean politics reach far and wide. And a resignation like this, it's not just a local affair. It's global. There was no mention of succession in the speech. No handover ceremony. No immediate plan announced. Just a silent exit. And that silence has raised more questions than answers. Was he pressured from within? Had the military whispered behind closed doors once again, just as it did in 2017? Or was it the growing public unrest, the quiet street protests, the increasingly loud voices from youth activists and civil society? Or maybe it was health, legacy, fear of how history might judge him if he held on too long. The internet exploded. Twitter lit up with disbelief. Facebook groups filled with voice notes of shock, tears, laughter, even suspicion. And let's not pretend for a second that the international eyes weren't watching. The UK Foreign Office released a short but pointed statement just hours later, urging peaceful transition and democratic continuity. The US and EU followed suit, cautiously optimistic. But everyone is waiting to see what comes next. And you, watching this right now, want to know who's taking over. Will this be another backroom power play? Or could Zimbabwe finally be standing at the edge of something new? Before I continue, if you haven't subscribed yet, now is the time. You do not want to miss the next chapter in this unfolding drama. Hit that button, because what happens next might just rewrite Zimbabwe's political script forever. Back to the speech, Mnangagwa ended it with a quote from the late Joshua Komu, a name that carries deep historical weight in Zimbabwean politics. A nation that does not take care of its people will never find peace. Then, with no fanfare, No waving of hands, he stepped back, turned, and left the podium. The air in that room. You could cut it with a knife. Now, the country holds its breath. Will this be the dawn of a new democratic chapter? Or will it be another tale of power shifted from one shadowy hand to another? Will Zimbabwe rise, or reel? One thing is certain, Emmerson Mnangagwa has left the building. And nothing will ever be the same again. This is a developing story. Stay tuned. Stay sharp. And as always, stay curious. Subscribe now. Because tomorrow is going to be even more shocking.